After touring the world with the top 10 BKFC knockouts from last year, it's time for MMA Corner TV to visit Asian countries as well. One championship excelled with kickboxing and Muay Thai knockouts in 2023. But their MMA events also have finishers to praise, and you will see what they're like if you stay until the end of the video. Number 10. Lawrence Phillips KOs Ben Parker. With the first knockout, we go to the land of Thai boxing, straight to the notorious Lumpini Stadium. At the One Friday Fight 7 event, where the fighters wowed with Muay Thai performances, there was an unusual and brutal knockout in the preliminary fights. Newcomers to the sport and relatively unknown fighters Lawrence Phillips and Ben Parker did not stay long in the One Championship ring. In 15 seconds, both got the clinch, where Lawrence gained complete control of his opponent with 2 underhooks. It didn't take him long to separate Ben Parker's legs from the ground, and then he slammed him into the floor, knocking him out at the beginning of the round. These heavyweights showed us why you can never let your opponent get 2 underhooks and why we should never skip the preliminary fights. There are many hidden gems out there. We just have to watch. Sebastian Kadestam KOs Roberto Soldic. Roberto Soldic is a former KSW double champion with an impressive 20 wins and 17 knockouts. He is known for being the only man to beat the current UFC champion, Dricus du Plessis. But after KSW, their paths diverged, and Roberto sought his luck at One Championship. With his performance, he should have taken the organization by storm, but luck did not follow. After a no-contest debut where he received an illegal groin strike, he returns against Sebastian Kadestam. Soldic had to introduce himself to the audience again, so he decided to do it violently and quickly. The one-sided beating did not suit Sebastian, but the opponent behaved relentlessly. However, the Swedish fighter took advantage of Roberto's pressure, was patient, and waited for his opponent to tire. And in the second round, he found a shortcut to victory. With a perfectly placed left elbow from the counter, he cut down one of Soldic's violent attacks, hurt him, chased him along the fence, and hunted him down. Number 8. Stamp Fairtex KOs Elise Anderson. One of the main female faces in the One Championship cover, Stamp Fairtex clashed with an American fighter, Elise Anderson. The girls put up a solid fight, with exchanges in stand-up and quality scrambles on the ground. Anderson showed good resistance against the former world Muay Thai champion Fairtex, who was more patient in picking her shots, which resulted in Elise finishing the first round bloody despite her pressure. Stamp almost reached submission in the second round when she climbed on her opponent's back, but they continued their fight in the striking department. In the continuation of the round, Elise lost all hope for victory when Fairtex hit her straight in the stomach with a surgically precise and powerful right middle kick, which resulted in an attractive knockout. She took home the Performance of the Night bonus as a reward. But if you think Fairtex's performance is impressive, wait until you see what we have under number 5. Number 7. Magomedmuradov KOs Arash Mardani. Magomedmuradov Kasayev, the kickboxing champion from Dagestan, came to the one event where he delighted the audience in Phuket together with his Iranian opponent Arash Mardani. None of Kasayev's opponents were lucky enough to survive until the final bell, as the Russian fighter had strung together 5 knockout victories in a row and was looking to make this his 6th. Mardani knew he couldn't match Magomedmuradov in stand-up, so he decided to spend much of the first round hugging him to death. Fortunately, the referee separated them and brought them back to their feet because the fight began to put the audience to sleep. The experienced Kasayev used the first opportunity to pressure the Iranian fighter with his striking, and with 40 seconds on the clock, he threw a left high kick over the guard of the covered opponent, hitting his temple and securing another knockout in a row. Number 6. Ali Abdullah KOs Richard Godoy. On May 26, 2023, there was a showdown between 2 fighters who are masters of ending fights both on the ground and in stand-up. Fighter from Kazakhstan, Ali Abdullah, in 9 victories knocked out 4 opponents and forced 5 to surrender. His opponent, the Brazilian Richard Godoy, can boast of his success, where he excelled with 10 submission victories and 2 knockouts in 15 matches. Statistically expected, Abdullah was much better on his feet, driving the Brazilian from one corner to another, using takedowns to win both rounds convincingly. The Kazakh constantly moved forward, tearing the opponent with precise punches. Godoy entered the third visibly worn out, and it was only a question of when one of Ali's attacks would remove him from the ring. A minute and a half into the third round, Abdullah takes the clinch, stabs the Brazilian with a knee, and then sends him to the floor with a clean elbow, bringing the victory back to Kazakhstan with the ultimate application of Muay Thai technique in an MMA fight. Number 5. Stamp Fairtex KOs Ham Xiaohe. The promised number 5 brings us again Stamp Fairtex, who, after the last victory, returns after 5 months against Ham Xiaohe in a match for the vacant one-woman's atomweight championship. Her opponent, a much more experienced Korean woman with a 9-fight winning streak, could not even imagine what kind of beast was hidden in the famous Thai woman. The patient fight between the two strikers could not indicate that there would be a knockout, but still, Fairtex's aggressive style prevailed. Stamp used the same recipe as in the last fight, and due to many kicks and punches to the body, she completely destroyed the muscular shield on her opponent's stomach. Finally, in the third round, the Thai attacked with a siege of body shots, causing the Korean opponent to curl up on the floor. Finishing the year 2023 with 2 victories, 2 knockouts due to body shots, and finally the title, the incredible Stamp is the champ again. Number 4. Lito Adewang KOs Adrian Matthews. Let's move on to the little guys from the Flyweight division, who scored one of the rare knockouts in the last year, considering that most of their Flyweight colleagues went for a decision. Adrian Matthews and Lito Adewang tend to get the job done by knockout or submission, so this fight had a lot of promise. Unfortunately, 2 explosive fighters did not have time to give us the long and quality fight we wanted, because they ended it before the spectators could even concentrate. After both entered the exchange, Lito sniped down Adrian with the first thrown punch, sending him to the ground immediately. The Filipino fighter did not want to give his opponent any space to recover, so he took the full mount, and with a dozen quick ground and pound punches, he finished the match. Luckily for Adewang, after 2 defeats, he found a swift way to return to the winning column. Number 3. Zayundin Sulyemanov KOs Abdullah Mametov. On June 10th, One Championship hosted 2 undefeated fighters, and someone's O had to go. As we're used to, one of them is the undefeated Russian Zayundin Sulyemanov with 6 wins, and his opponent, the fighter from Turkey, Abdullah Mametov, has the same score as his rival. Mametov's reach advantage could not neutralize Zayundin's early takedown, but he managed to get out in a slick way after a short time. After a couple of exchanges, the Russian, of course, gets another takedown, but the Turk gets up again. The fight was fun and active. Boys fought on the ground, exchanged blows on their feet, and there was no lack of excitement. However, one had to leave with a defeat, and in the middle of the second round, Sulyemanov jumped in with a front hook that had enough power to bring Abdullah to the ground and finish him off with a couple of punches. Fortunately, the Russian missed the high kick he threw after the hook because Mametov would have been knocked unconscious. Number 2. Matheus Pereira KOs Sumit Bayan. Yod Chatri has always been the first man to give opportunities to fighters fresh into the professional scene. Accordingly, we have another rookie clash on our list that ended before the clock struck the first round. Brazilian Matheus Pereira and Indian Sumit Bayan entered the match quite calmly, considering their inexperience. But Chatri still knew whom he needed to give opportunities to, and Matheus fully justified it. After a minute in the first, Sumit looked too relaxed, which cost him greatly. He threw a slow front kick that the Brazilian caught, shot to the body with his right hand, and immediately connected with a beautiful front hook that knocked Bayan out. Like that wasn't enough, Sumit bounced his head off the canvas when he fell, and Pereira, to be sure of his victory, followed it up with more strikes, ending the match early and presenting himself in a great light to the Thai audience, who know how to appreciate amazing knockouts. Number 1. Carlo Bumina-ang KOs Elias Dursun. Elias Dursun is another undefeated Turkish fighter who left Thailand with his first loss. His opponent was the local fighter Carlo Bumina-ang, who did his best to leave the ring undefeated. And the best thing is, he needed only 40 seconds to get the job done. With the first contact, where both threw a front hook, Carlo was the one whose punch was faster, and Elias found himself on the floor after the impact. He quickly tried to get up, but Bumina-ang made sure that Dursun stayed on the floor. So he hit him with the nice left hook, knocking him through the ropes and leaving him unconscious in the referee's hands. And so another match on this list ended before the fighters could break a sweat. Quick and easy finish. One Championship in 2023 did not have many brutal knockouts in MMA fights, but what kind of channel would we be if we didn't find the most interesting ones for you? We've come to the end, and thank you for sticking around. Don't forget to return to our channel if you appreciate our work. There's a lot more content waiting for you, and next up, we'll be covering knockouts from the big promotion on your MMA Corner TV. Leave your opinion in the comments and tell us if you want us to devote our attention to the top knockouts from Muay Thai and kickboxing fights from 2023, because we believe they would delight you.